What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. I know we're doing a third video today, but this is important news that just could not be ignored. There's a lot of trickery going on in campaigns. Now, we've talked about Barbara Ball, and we've talked about Mark Carney competing against her in their riding of Nepean. I've got a funny story coming up about that one. But that being said, I need to highlight here some questionable behavior that's going on that's trying to implicate Pierre Poilievre in a negative light. Now, I've said many, many times that, and it's no surprise to anybody, that Mark Carney is running on Donald Trump. This is the reason he removed himself from the campaign to allegedly go negotiate with Donald Trump, is because Mark Carney, that's all he's got. He needs a villain. He needs to convince the lower Southern Ontario, mostly the GTA area, those people with Trump derangement syndrome, to vote for Mark Carney to handle Trump. Now, while we've talked about Barbara Ball and Mark Carney's people replacing Barbara Ball's signs with his on her stakes, which were painted and marked, by the way, go check out our other video on that. Some questionable things have happened now directly to Pierre Poilievre that people are questioning now, is it illegal? Now, of course, the Liberals are doing everything they can to sneak past it, to say that it's not a big deal. It's been handled. We're going to talk about that. I was waiting to put out this video based on a statement because yesterday this video was forwarded to me of Michelle Rempel-Garner talking about what she uncovered from a reporter sitting next to some Liberals bragging in a bar. I'll get into that article. But let's just take a brief cliff notes of what happened, and then I'm going to get into the article for you guys. Let's take a look.
But I want to show you how desperate and disgusting Mark Carney's team is. This is breaking. This is breaking news, and you've got to share this video because we know the mainstream media is not going to cover this, okay? So there was a conservative sort of meetup, a conference of sort of right-leaning activists that happened in Ottawa last week. And there was a story in the Globe and Mail that had this quote in it. It said, at an annual conservative gathering, people gleefully traded a photo of a campaign button with the name of Mr. Poilievre's chief advisor, Jenny Byrne, and crossed out and replaced with Mr. Tonight. So it was this story about these buttons that were circulating at this conference. So here's a picture here. And there was ones that said, "Stop the steal."
So if you don't know who Corey Tonight is, he was a conservative planner who was linked to Stephen Harper. Again, there's been criticism about Pierre Poilievre and his angle of Donald Trump, but the "Stop the Steal" is a direct reference to Donald Trump. So they're passing these buttons around, trying to play off that Pierre Poilievre is suddenly pivoting to Trump-style politics, to scare away anybody who was going to vote for Pierre Poilievre into saying, well, he backs Trump. He's like Trump. He adopts Trump's slogans. I'll let her continue, but this is disgusting.
Make Canada great again, free Alberta. There was these buttons that were circulating, and they made it into mainstream news articles like the Globe and Mail, like I just quoted. So it was this narrative that was coming out that all of a sudden, Pierre Poilievre is doing like American style politics. But guess what just happened, guys? Because Pierre Poilievre has been putting Canada first with a Canada First plan, right? And the Liberals know that. And people across the country are showing up to his rallies, thousands of people. It's resonating on doors like mine. People are motivated to get out and vote the Liberals out of office. So the Liberals are desperate. Look what they did. Look at what they did. This is insane. They found it just is breaking that it was Mark Carney's team that made these buttons up, put them in this conference, knowing that there would be media there, to spread fake news, American-style disinformation at a time when, the Liberals are talking about, Canada, elbows up, Canada strong. What does this look like to you folks? What is Mark Carney's team did this.
So, well, they're all yelling Canada Stong, if you get the joke. Yes, we said Canada Stong. Here's the problem. Mark Carney has come out talking about censoring online platforms. He's come out talking about making X illegal if he becomes prime minister. like mandated prime minister. And then they go and spread the same lies and misinformation he claims that he's going to be taking down by making platforms illegal. This is all a dictatorship. It's a banana republic. Um, Absolutely absurd. And when you look to Pierre's rallies, and a lot of people were raising videos last week, and again, I showed it in live stream, a lot of people questioning, even in the Alberta rally, when Pierre Poilievre was just outside of Edmonton, and somebody was turned away from wearing a Make Canada Great Again hat, and complaining to the pleb on live stream saying that, hey, I've been told to leave, that I either take my hat off or I don't get in. This is why. This is why they were told to do that. Look at how Mark Carney, and a lot of people were saying on that live stream, I think he's a plant. I think this guy was planted there because they've had other people on video at other rallies with the same hats saying, we can't get in, we're told to take them off, it's absurd. Now, I'm all for free speech, I'm for freedom of expression, I'm not anti-Trump, but what they're doing here is protecting their brand from the liberals. And anybody who's been asked to remove those hats, if they genuinely are wearing them, should understand the reasoning for that when you see this kind of politics. I want to get into the article because here's the Stop the Steal buttons. When Mark Carney was asked about this, well, Canada election, and now this article was brought out, keep in mind, less than an hour after like it's only been out for about an hour at the time of filming this video. Canada election, Liberal staffers who planted Trump-style buttons reassigned within the campaign, Carney says. So, oh God, we got caught? Well, I better reassign them, because rather than fire them, rather than apologize or say, yeah, unfortunately we did something terrible, no, we're just going to reassign them. We're going to reassign them. In the latest installment of our federal election series, they go on about how things are done. Here's the button issue. Here's a synopsis. My colleague Kate McKenna got quite a scoop on Friday while sitting in an Ottawa bar. She overheard a Liberal staffer admitting that he and a colleague planted buttons with Trump-style slogans at a Conservative conference held last week in the nation's capital. One of the buttons said "Stop the Steal," an apparent reference to Donald Trump's denial of the 2020 U.S. presidential election results. The other had the name Jenny Byrne crossed out with the name Corey Tenike underneath. Byrne is the national campaign director for the Conservative Party, and Tenike is a Conservative operative who has led campaigns for Ontario Premier Doug Ford and former Prime Minister Stephen Harper. Tenike has recently been deeply critical of Poilievre's campaign for Prime Minister, again, on how he's handled Donald Trump. So that's what they're trying to do here. A Liberal spokesperson said that the party has conducted a review of the matter and that leader Mark Carney made it clear this does not fit his commitment to serious and positive discourse. Are you high? Are you kidding me? No apology? No, oh, that shouldn't have happened? Take a look at the original article. Here's the buttons in question, with Jenny Byrne cut out, Corey Tenike, and again, the Conservative logo, Stop the Steal. Two Liberal political party staffers attended last week's Canada Strong and Free Networking conference, where they planted buttons, used Trump-style language, and highlighted division within the Conservative Party. The conference, often referred to by its former name, the Manning Conference, is an opportunity for conservative-leaning Canadians to talk about policy proposals and network. It was held at the Westin Hotel in downtown Ottawa. Some attendees noticed the buttons appearing at the event. One said, "Stop the Steal," again a reference to Trump. The Liberal Party of Canada has sought to tie Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre to the American president in speeches and ads. Some Conservative supporters have expressed skepticism about polling numbers that put the Liberals ahead. Well, of course, we've all talked about that. They're all bought and paid for. You've even had people running the polling companies tweeting out that they're going to ensure Pierre Poilievre does not become prime minister. Another button had the name Jenny Byrne crossed out with the name Corey Tenike underneath. Byrne is the national campaign director for the Conservative Party of Canada. Tenike is a longtime Conservative strategist who played a key role in, again, Doug Ford's re-election campaign, and he has been deeply critical of Pierre's campaign to date. The buttons were scattered in the event to give the impression that they were made and left by people attending the conference. In fact, the idea came from the Liberal war room. On Friday night in two Ottawa bars, campaign workers shared how the party was behind this move. Two Liberal Party staffers attended the conference intended for Conservatives and placed these buttons in areas where attendees would find them. Again, this is why when I was live streaming Pierre's rally in Edmonton, I said, you notice CBC's out here. Isn't it funny CBC's out here and they're covering Pierre's rally while a guy is driving away in a Make Canada Great Again hat, turned away from the conference? Now, I don't know if they interviewed him. I don't know if they caught that on camera. I don't watch mainstream media. So if anybody has seen a clip, please let me know. But it makes me beg to question, are they bringing in people, the mainstream shill prostitutes bringing in plants? Are the Liberal parties sending in plants to these conferences, to these rallies, to these events? This is why, again, people should understand when Pierre's people are saying, we can't have that in here. Now, I've often criticized Pierre's party and said, it's not Pierre, it's his team. His team is telling people no freedom of expression. What they should be saying is, this is why we can't do it, using this as a reference point. Do you see how the media gets about these things? It's not that we don't want to allow you to express yourself. It has to do with the fact that the Liberals are running amok with anything that comes out. We're trying to keep our campaign as clean as possible. People should have an understanding. If it was explained to them, they would probably understand. Just saying. At the pub Darcy McGee's near Parliament Hill, a number of Liberal War Room staffers met for drinks on the far side of the bar. The journalist joined one of them for a quick conversation, but heard another staffer who had previously identified himself as being involved in opposition research describing how he had a colleague planting the buttons. The staffer knew he was sitting next to the journalist. When confronted, the staffer at first confirmed what he'd done, but he then denied saying anything when he told that CBC News would be reporting on the operation. A Conservative source overheard the other conversation. The Liberal Party said Sunday that some campaigners regrettably got carried away with the use of buttons, poking fun at reports of Conservative infighting. Does that sound like getting carried away or poking fun at something? That sounds pretty targeted to me. Liberal spokesperson Kevin Lemke said that the party has conducted a review on the matter and that leader Mark Carney has made it clear this does not fit his commitment to serious and positive discourse. It's unfortunate but not surprising that the Liberals would seek to misrepresent the views of attendees of our conference, said CSFN spokesperson Alex Spence in a statement. These divisive, gimmicky tactics say more about the Liberals than they do about the United Conservative Party or its movement. Sources told CBC News that people working on the Poilievre campaign were instructed not to attend the conference, but instead be out door knocking and be productive. Despite their public claims, it's clear that it's the Liberals who are attempting to bring American-style politics to our country, said Conservative Party of Canada spokesperson Sam Lilly in a statement. One wonders what other dirty tricks the Liberals are behind as they desperately seek to distract from their disastrous record while seeking a fourth Liberal term. This is why I keep telling people, especially if you're in Southern Ontario, get out and vote. Get your voter card. Get out there. Show your support. I want to see a high voter turnout in this election. We need to make this too big to rig. The Liberals swapping signs, putting in buttons, trying to distract. Haven't you had enough of this? Like, I really don't know what to say anymore because we've done this so many times. It feels like we're on the same carousel on repeat over and over and over. Enough is enough. Don't buy into the hype. Don't buy into the polls. Don't let your friends don't let friends vote Liberal. Okay? I'm not telling you how to vote. I'm just cracking a joke. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts down below on the tomfoolery going on. Targeted tomfoolery. Let me know if you think that the people with those hats at those rallies are plants. Let me know your thoughts down below. If it's your first time here, I would encourage everyone to hit that subscribe button, not just on this channel, but every Canadian political content provider on this platform. The Liberals, obviously, you can see with the buttons, the signs, everything, they're doing everything they can to censor people like me, people like other channels, like Moose on the Loose, The Pleb, Clinton Jaws. Whether you like or hate the clickbait, Mr. Sunshine Baby, all these channels are going to get suppressed going into this election. If you haven't shown them support yet, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell for every channel, for all notifications so that you are not left out of the loop whenever new videos drop from these channels. Join me live each and every Friday night for Friday Night Fringe, our live streaming show, where I'm joined by my beautiful wife, Mrs. Fringe, as we go over everything that happened this week in politics, everything we know that's coming up in the week ahead, as well as back and forth within the greatest YouTube community on this platform. I look forward to chatting with you guys outside of making these videos, but I most importantly look forward to hearing what you have to say this Friday, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, here on the channel. Don't forget to also join me and Mrs. Fringe and myself. There's my bad English. Join us live Thursday night for the debate live stream. Curious if this will be brought up in that live stream, at least as a jab. We'll see, I guess. It's going to be a bloodbath. Come check it out with me here on the channel. It's going to be a great night. Grab your popcorn. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.